वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। So after a long gap, again resuming the classes. We were discussing Bhagavad Sandarbha Anuccheda 63. So there's a long purport. So in this particular Anuccheda, so in this particular section, Srila Jiva Goswami is explaining the 9 characteristics of Vaikuntha. We'll once go through those 9 characteristics of Vaikuntha and then we'll come to this. So the 9 characteristics of Vaikuntha, we can somebody can read from the first point. Bhagavan Sabod. Okay, I'll only read. So Bhagavan Sabod being identical with the non-dual reality, Vaikuntha cannot be attained by dualistic action. That means by fruitive action, result-oriented activity. And Vaikuntha is described in the Vedas as transcendental to the manifested cosmos. and Vaikuntha, we will read that Sanskrit also. And tam labdavata askalana gunasatmyena stuyate. So the Vaikuntha is glorified as that place, that having obtained that Vaikuntha, nobody can fall from there. It does not allow its residents to fall down to the material world. The third characteristic. The fourth characteristic is the Nairgunya avasthayameva labhyate. It is attained only by a person who is permanently situated in a stage beyond the three modes of nature. Laukika Bhagavan Niketasyapi tad aveshan Nairgunyam atidishyata ityatah satu tad drupataya sutarameva gamyate. Not only Vaikuntha, even the abodes of the Lord within the material world, which are like the embassies of the Vaikuntha within the material world, they are also said to be transcendental to the three gunas because of the presence of the Lord in those abodes. If the abodes of the Lord in the material world, if they are transcendental to the three gunas, then what to speak of the Vaikuntha? That is certainly ascertained to be transcendental. And the sixth characteristic is that Sakshadeva Prakritehe Paratvena Shruyate. The scriptures declare that the Vaikuntha, by its very nature, is beyond Prakriti, beyond material nature. Nityatayo Udgoshyate. Nityatayo Udgoshyate. Nityataya Udgoshyate. Vaikuntha is eternal. Moksha Sukhamapi Tiraskurvantya Bhaktiyaiva Labhyate. Vaikuntha is attained by pure devotion. Attained by pure devotion. And what kind of pure devotion? That pure devotion which belittles even the bliss of liberation. The pure devotion is called as non-dual action, which is causeless, uninterrupted, and produces no extraneous efforts, and is in one in nature and orientation with the Bhagavan, who is the Advaya Jnana, the non-dual absolute truth. Such pure devotion belittles even the bliss of liberation, which is merely the negation or absence of fruitive action. The bliss of liberation is nothing but the absence of the fruitive action. And the ninth characteristic is that Sachidananda Ganatvena Abhidiyate. It is referred to as Sachidananda Gana, a highly compact mass of eternal being, consciousness, and bliss. These are the 9 characteristics of Vaikuntha we have been discussing. Out of that, the first 2 characteristics we have discussed. The third one we discussed last 3 classes. We'll continue the discussion maybe for 2 classes more today and next class. So the third characteristic is that the nature of Vaikuntha is that it will never allow the person to fall from Vaikuntha. No one falls from Vaikuntha. Tato askalanam. Tato askalanam. So regarding this, for this particular anuccheda, the 2 shlokas which Jiva Goswami quotes, this from 3rd canto, 25th chapter, Kapila Dev's teachings. Atho vibhutim mama mayavi ato vibhutim mama mayavi nastam aishwaryamashtangam pravrittam shriyam bhagavatim vasprihayanti badram ato vibhutim mama mayavi nastam ऐश्वर्यमष्टाङ्गमनु प्रवृत्तम् श्रियं भागवतीं वा स्पृहयन्ति भद्रां परस्य मेते शृण्वते तु लोके. So this is the first shloka. Thereafter, that means after the removal of ignorance, they do not hanker. Sprikayanti means desiring. They do not desire. They do not hanker after any opulence stored for them by my Maya. Mama Maya Chitam Aishwaryam Ashtangam Anupravritam. Nor do they hanker for the 8 mystic siddhis, yogic paranormal powers. Ashtanga Manu Pravritam. Nor do they even hanker for the transcendental glory of God, Shriyam Bhagavatim. And yet, these benign gifts become effortlessly available to them in my supreme abode. So, this is the first shloka he quotes. The second shloka is immediately after this. So, after the removal of ignorance, a person attains vaikuntha. In vaikuntha, a person does not hanker for the mystic siddhis, does not hanker for the spiritual opulences of vaikuntha created by Lord's Yogamaya, and they do not hanker for the transcendental glory of God. And the next shloka, न कर्हिचिन् मत्परा शान्तरूपे नङ्क्ष्यन्ति नो मे निमिषो लेडिहेतिः येषामहं प्रिय आत्मा सुतश्च सका गुरुः सुहृदो दैवमिष्टम्. So in this particular shloka is very clearly mentioned about especially the point no one falls from Vaikuntha. In that abode, na karhichin matpara shanta rupe. In that abode of shanta rupe, unadulterable peace, are found only those who know themselves and feel themselves to belong to me entirely. Na karhichin matpara shanta rupe नंक्ष्यन्ति नो मे अनिमिषो लेडी हेतिः येषाम अहम प्रिय. Only those who know themselves and feel themselves to belong to me entirely, they will never meet with destruction. This is the most important keyword. They will never meet with destruction. This particular sentence is in line with this anuccheda's main theme. No one falls from Vaikuntha. My unblinking wheel never devours those for whom I am the total beloved. Their very self, son, friend, preceptor, relative, benefactor, and worshipable Lord. And worshipable Lord. So these are the two main shlokas of this particular Anucheda. So we have been discussing this theme that how nobody falls from Vaikuntha. That is the Anucheda's title is that Tato Askalanam. So we will continue to discuss. We discussed in the previous class that there are 6 conditions which are often thought to precede a fall down. Usually, like there's a somebody says that some jivas have fallen from Vaikuntha. There are 6 possible reasons given by different people, and we discuss how each of these 6 causes, 6 reasons, cannot be possible. How each of the 6 reasons because of which one will fall from Vaikuntha All the six reasons are invalid. We discussed it in the last class. The jiva wishes to come to the material world by his free will from vaikuntha. This can be one reason. Or the jivatma commits a sin, therefore he comes to vaikuntha. Therefore he comes to material world. Or he is cursed by a devotee, or he is cursed by the Supreme Lord, therefore he comes to material world. Or he offends the devotee or the Supreme Lord, therefore he falls down. Or the Lord decides to make him fall, because the Lord is free to do as he likes. We discuss how all these six reasons are actually impossible. So we will go ahead. One minute. So we discuss many scriptural evidences. Yeah. So it has been shown logically that falling from Vaikuntha is not possible under any circumstances. Nor is there any scriptural evidence to support such an event. So I also showed several verses which show that nobody can fall from Vaikuntha. And we also discussed several verses which tell that how the avidya is anadi. The ignorance is there of the living entity since anadi kala. Anadi avidya yuktasya purushasya atma vedanam swatona sambhavadanya tattvajno jnanado bhaved. The living entity is endowed with avidya since anadi kala, and a living entity cannot come out of this ignorance on his own. Only when he receives transcendental knowledge from another tattvajna, he can come out of the ignorance. So we discuss several verses, several quotations for that also. So nor is there, it has been shown that falling from Vaikuntha is not possible. Nor is there any scriptural evidence to support such an event. However, there are many scriptural texts to the effect that it is impossible to fall down from the spiritual world, regardless of whether one has resided there eternally or has attained it after many lifetimes in the mundane world. We discuss both the conditions that somebody may say that so those who fall from Vaikuntha are the Nitya Siddhas. Because Nitya Siddhas, they have no experience of living in the material world. Therefore, they fall down from there. Those who have gone from the material world to the spiritual world, because they have the experience of suffering in the material world, therefore they again don't make a mistake. They will not fall down. But the Nitya Siddhas, those who never had an experience of the material world, they can fall down. Only they fall down. Like that, some people can give an argument. And we discuss how that argument is invalid. Still, we will go through some more points in that connection. Somebody may say that Nitya Siddhas, have they attained Vaikuntha or have they not attained Vaikuntha? If we say that Nitya Siddha have attained Vaikuntha, they have attained Vaikuntha, that means they cannot fall down. That means why we are saying that they cannot fall down? Because they attained Vaikuntha from going from the material world. Attained means previously they did not have Vaikuntha. They went from the material world and attained Vaikuntha. And because they had experience of suffering in the material world, they cannot fall down. And if they have not attained Vaikuntha, then we cannot even call them as the... if they have not attained Vaikuntha, then where are they? Where are they? Then they must be in Vaikuntha only. Otherwise, they cannot be called as Nitya Siddhas only. So how can it be possible that they exist in Vaikuntha but have not attained Vaikuntha? So therefore, Nitya Siddhas, neither the Sadhana Siddhas nor the Nitya Siddhas can fall down. Uh, we gave several arguments in the previous class. So the reason, like, oftentimes in the scriptures, many times we use the word having attained Vaikuntha, one never falls down. For example, Bhagavad Gita, Mam upetya punarjanma naiti mameti sorjuna. Order. Mamupetya punarjanma dukalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gataha. Having attained Vaikuntha, after reaching Vaikuntha, one does not fall down. Like that, many verses are there. Why it is mentioned that having attained Vaikuntha? Because such verses are instructions for the conditioned living beings. The Lord has no need to give instruction to the Nitya Siddha devotees. Because Nitya Siddha devotees, they are never in ignorance. Therefore, Lord does not have to give spiritual instructions to the Nitya Siddhas. And secondly, when something is denied, it indicates the possibility of opposite action. Having attained Vaikuntha, one does not fall down. Such instruction is given to the conditioned souls because there is a possibility of the opposite action. If the Lord were to tell you Nitya Siddha, you will never fall because you are my devotee, this would imply the possibility of the fall down. Otherwise, why the Lord has to give reassurance? But the Lord never says that one can fall down from Vaikuntha. One can fall from Vaikuntha. Nor do they have any experience of this. Nitya Siddhas have no experience of the material world. So therefore, there is no need to reassure the Nitya Siddhas. Nitya Siddha means you don't have to give reassurance to the Nitya Siddhas because there is no possibility of them falling down to the material world only. All the instructions about the spiritual world, they are given to the conditioned souls in order to give them the impetus to go to the spiritual world. And so Bhagavan does assure the conditioned persons that his abode is distinct in nature. Natad basayate shuryo na shashanko na pavakaha yadgatvana nivartante taddama paramam mama. He does this because conditioned souls know from the scriptures, because conditioned souls know that if we go to any place within the material world, Swargaloka, Chandraloka, once the pious credits are exhausted, one will have to fall down from them. Conditioned souls have experience of that and they know from the scriptures about the places in the material world. Therefore, the Lord has to give assurance to the conditioned souls about the spiritual world. From the spiritual world, having attained it, one does not fall down. And Lord never gives instruction to the Nitya Siddhas that you will not fall down from the spiritual world. Because there is no possibility of the Nitya Siddhas falling from the spiritual world. And the Nitya Siddhas are never in ignorance. They are always in full knowledge. They already have the knowledge. The scriptures inform us about the subjects that are unknown to us and which we cannot know by ourselves. There is a verse in the Hitopadesh which says that Aneka samshayochedi parokshartasya darshakam sarvatra lochanam sarvasya lochanam shastram yasya nastyanda eva saha. Shastra eradicates the doubts eradicates all doubts, and Shastra gives knowledge about uh, those entities which we cannot know with our senses. Parokshartasya darshakam. Sarvasya lochanam shastram. Shastra is the eye for everyone. And one who does not have the eye of Shastra is considered to be a blind person. So Shastra gives knowledge about those things which we cannot know by ourselves. Shastro Agyata Jnapakaha. So therefore, the scriptural instructions are meant for the conditioned living beings. They are not meant for the liberated souls. They are not meant for the liberated souls. Either the sadhana siddhas or the nitya siddhas. Because the liberated souls, they have gone beyond the scriptures. Atma Ramascha Munayo Nirgranta Apyurukrame. Nirgranta means what? They have gone beyond. They have gone beyond the rules and regulations of the Shastra. Or another verse in the Bhagavatam, Brahmaji speaks about the spiritual world. Dure Yama. That means the residents of Vaikuntha are beyond the rules and regulations of the scripture. And Krishna also says that Yadate Moha Kalilam Buddhir Vyatitarishyati Tada Gantasi Nirvedam Shrotavyasya Shrutasya Cha. The Sita Prajna has gone beyond everything that has been heard or that is to be heard. Therefore, the Nitya Siddhas, they never need instruction because they are above they have gone beyond the stage of ignorance. Like they are eternally free from ignorance. The pure devotees, they hear the scripture only to relish the Lord's pastimes, not to be given assurance that you will not fall down from the spiritual world. So, in fact, for such a pure devotee, there is no difference between the hell and heaven. Narayana parasarve na kutaschana bibyati swarga apavarga narakeshu apitulyartha darshanaha. The devotees of Narayana are completely surrendered. They consider even the heaven and hell to be equal. So therefore, Jiva Goswami has given the title of this anuccheda as Tato Askalanam. Tato Askalanam means what? Tato Askalanam means Vaikuntha is a place of no fall down. Askalanam. He is not saying that Tato Anavartanam. Tato Anavartanam means it's a place of no return. Jiva Goswami is not saying like that. It's a place of no return. He's saying it's a place of no fall down. But when he says it's a place of no return, it has a slightly different meaning. It's a place of no return. That means nobody returns from Vaikuntha. Like somebody can come from Vaikuntha for executing the mission of the Lord in the material world. Sometimes the associates of the Lord in the spiritual world, they can come to material world for executing the mission of the Lord. But that is not, so they can return from Vaikuntha. But that is not considered to be a fall down. It is like a jailer going to the prison cell for correcting the prisoners. So jailer is not going because of he has committed a crime. So Jiva Goswami is not saying the Tato Anavartanam, rather he says the Tato Askalanam. Vaikuntha is a place of no fall down. So that is why this shloka is also mentioned in this Anuccheda 4.12.37. I will again show that shloka. This is from Dhruva Maharaj section. Shanta samadrisha shuddha sarvabhutanu ranjanaha yantyanjasa chutapadam achyuta priya bandhavaha. So in this shloka, the word Achyuta Padam is there, the third line. Achyuta Padam. Achyuta Padam can refer to Vaikuntha. Achyuta Pada can mean the place of Achyuta. Or Achyuta Padam means the place from where no one falls. Chuta means falling. Achyuta means not falling. It's a place from where no one falls. So Achyuta is also the name of Krishna. Senayor Ubayor Madhye Ratam Stapaya Mechuta. The word Achyuta comes to three places in the Gita. First chapter, 11th chapter, and the 15th chapter. Not 15th, the 18th chapter. The first chapter, Achyuta means one who never fails in his affection for his devotee. The 11th chapter, after Arjuna sees the universal form, he addresses Krishna by the word Achyuta. There he means, Arjuna is saying that many times I have mistreated you. I did not address you with a honorific prefix. I might not have respected you properly. So please forgive me. In that context, he is addressing Krishna by the word Achyuta. So that the word Achyuta means one who never fails to forgive his devotees. The 18th chapter, Arjuna says that Nashtamoho Smritirlabdva Tvat Prasadat Mayachyuta Stitosmi Gata Sandeha Karishye Vachanam Tava. When Arjuna addresses Krishna by the word Achyuta, it means that one who never fails to protect the vows of his devotees. So Achyuta has different meanings. Achyuta also means that one who never falls. So Achyuta can also mean that person whose devotees never fall. This is another meaning of the word Achyuta. That person whose devotees never fall. This meaning is given in the Skanda Purana verse. Na chavati chavayati va ityachyutaha. Achyuta has two meanings. Na chavati, that means one who never falls. Another meaning is that chavayati va. That means one who never makes his devotees fall, or whose devotees never fall. So this comes in the Skanda Purana Shloka 4.20.30. Na chavantepi yadbhakta mahati pralaye sati atochito kile loke sayekas sarvago vyayah. So what is the meaning? His devotees do not fall down even during the great dissolution, pralaya. Therefore, he is supreme, imperishable, and omnipresent in all the planetary systems. And so therefore, Krishna's abode is called as Achyutapada, the place of no fall down. And Krishna says that Neha Bikrama Nashosti Pratyavayoda Vidyate Swalpam Apyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bayat. No effort on the yoga path is ever lost, nor can any obstacle ever hold one back forever. Just a little progress on this path can protect one from the greatest fear. So, so now there can be another objection. Another objection is that generally the conditioned beings, they are called by the word patita. Patita means fallen. And when we literally take the word patita means fallen, one may say that this implies that previously they were not fallen. Previously they were not fallen. So when we say that mashed potato, it implies that previously the potato was not mashed. Previously potato was solid and now it has been mashed. So similarly, when we say the living entity is patita, mentioned as patita in the scripture. For example, for example, uh, for example, in the Sikshashtakam itself, there is a shloka. Anybody knows which shloka the word patitam comes?
पतितम में विषमाम बुधौ.
Sixth one, na? Sixth.
हाँ.
So the word patitam mam vishame bhavam budau. So there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that in the mood of a devotee, I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. If we have fallen, then one may say that previously we were not in a we must have been in Vaikuntha. That if we have fallen, it must have been from Vaikuntha, because every other place apart from Vaikuntha, it is already in a fallen position. So if we have fallen, that means previously we must have fallen from Vaikuntha. Like that, one may give this argument. But the defect in this argument is that we are assuming that the fallen condition is preceded by the non-fallen state. That is the assumption. The fallen condition is preceded by the non-fallen state. But if one's fallen condition is anadi, it has no beginning, then that person is also called patita only. Because there is no other word to describe such a state. One who is anadi patita, one who is in the fallen condition since anadi kala, to describe such a person also the same word patitam is used. So sometimes the word anadi, the word adjective anadi may be used. Sometimes it may not be used. So what is the purpose of an adjective? When I say red lotus, the red is the adjective. So some probably in that particular place, there are blue lotuses are also there. So in order to distinguish this particular lotus from the other blue lotuses, red lotus word is used. But but sometimes nevertheless the red lotus is also a lotus. So and the red lotus can also be referred simply by the word lotus also. Red lotus can be referred simply by the word lotus. So when suppose when there is no need to distinguish that red lotus from other lotuses, suppose all the lotuses in the basket are all red lotus only, then there is no need to distinguish from the other lotuses. Therefore, you may just mention as lotus only. But suppose there is blue lotus is also there, then you have to use the specifically adjective red lotus. So similarly, when the patita is used without the adjective anadi, it refers to all the fallen living entities. It refers to all the fallen living entities, because why sometimes the word anadi is not used, like in the Sikshashtakam, the word patitam mam, the anadi adjective is not used. So it means that basically all the living entities are anadi patita only. There was no need to distinguish. It's not that some people are anadi patita, some people they have fallen from Vaikuntha. If such a situation is there, then you may have to specifically use the adjective anadi patita. But if all the living entities are anadi patita, then there is no need to use there's no need to use that adjective to distinguish the anadi patita from those who are not anadi patita. So similarly, when the patita is used without the adjective, it refers to all the fallen living entities. So hell is a fallen place. And there was never a time when it was not fallen. When we say hell, hell is a fallen place. It's always a fallen place. So calling it as a fallen place does not imply that previously hell was not a fallen place. It's not that previously the hell was not a fallen place. So hell was always in a fallen place only. Similarly, when it is said patitam, fallen, when the word patitam is used for the living entities, as in the Shikshashtakam, it means that the living entities were always in a fallen state. Anadi patita. I quoted several verses in this connection in the previous class. The word anadi avidya yuktasya, purushasya atma vedanam. Maybe once more I will show that series of verses. For if you see the word anadi, how it is used in many places. Yeah. See, 4.10.77.32. Anadi Atma Viparyaya. Anadi Atma Viparyaya. 4.29.70. Yavat Buddhi Manokshartha Gunavyuho Kyanadiman. The living entities endowed with the subtle body, mind, since Anadi Kala. As long as the beginningless subtle body composed of intelligence, mind, senses, and sense objects continues to exist. 11.11.4 Anadi Avidya, Avidyaya Anadir. 11.22.10 Anadi Avidya Yuktasya. Bhagavad Gita 13.20 Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidya Anadi Ubhavapi. So like that, the word Anadi is used many times. So therefore, sometimes the word patitam is used without anadi. It doesn't mean that the living entities are not anadi patita. They have fallen from vaikuntha. So the patit and little more grammatical analysis. The word patita is a past participle according to Paninian grammar. So usually in the Paninian grammar, there is a dhatu is there, verb, and then a pratyaya is attached, and then you form a particular word, patita. The pat dhatu, pat means to fall, and then with that you add the pratyaya, tha pratyaya, suffix, and then you get the word patita. So this tha pratyaya comes in 5 different meanings. It is not that it is always in the past tense. So the tha pratyaya, the most prominent meaning is that it indicates something done in the past, like bhukta, bhukta bhoga parityakta. Bhukta means eaten. It like the pratyek comes, one of the meaning, the most prominent meaning is that the ta pratyek is used to indicate an action which was done in the past. And but the ta pratyek also comes in another meaning. For example, it talks about the beginning of an activity. Prakritah katam devadattaha. Devadatta begins to make the mat. The prakritaha here the ta pratyay is used. The suffix is used. But here it is not coming in the past tense. It is coming in the meaning of an action which has begun but not completed. Beginning of an activity. Prakritaha katam devadattaha. And the ta pratyay is also used in the present tense. Ragyam ishtam, desirable by the kings. So the sense of present tense action applied to certain set of verbal roots. In certain set of verbal roots, the ta pratyay comes in the sense of a present tense. Ragyam ishtam. And the ta pratyay also comes in the sense of a verbal noun. Hasitam. Hasitam means a verbal noun. Laughter. It's a noun, but a verbal noun. So hasitam, it is in the neuter gender. And the ta pratyaya, when the word ending in ta is used as a name, Devadatta, it carries the sense of a benediction. It carries the sense of a benediction. So the ta pratyaya, it comes in 5 different meanings. The first meaning is that it comes in the sense of a past tense action. When you take in that sense action, patita means fallen. That means you have fallen from some vaikuntha. But that is not the only meaning in which the ta pratyaya comes. Ta pratyaya also comes in other meanings. So that is a little grammatical analysis. So when the patita is used to indicate a conditioned being, it means that the conditioned being is in an eternally fallen state. Is in an eternally fallen state. Now, Jiva Goswami gives, I think, 3 examples. How the ta pratyay is used in the sense of an eternally in that condition. For example, in Ujjwala Neelamani, where Jiva Goswami explains about the eternal nature of Bhagavan's pastimes, Jiva Goswami uses the word sannihita. Sannihita is in this word also that the same ta pratyay is used. The word ta pratyay is added to the particular dhatu dha. But he says that in this sannihita word, the ta pratyay is used in the sense of a present tense. Lat pratyayavat ta pratyayasya. Lat pratyayavat means lat recurs to the present tense. So the sannihita, although the ta pratyay is used, but it is used in the sense of a present tense. So because the Krishna's pastimes are eternally going on, therefore the sannihita word in that the ta pratyay is used in the eternal present tense. And Jiva Goswami gives in order to substantiate his viewpoint, he gives an example from the Shruti. So there is a famous verse in the Chandogya Upanishad. In that the 8 symptoms of the 8 qualities of the liberated soul are there. So these qualities of a liberated soul are always present in the Supreme Lord. So one of the qualities is that I am Atma Apahata Papma. I am Atma Apahata Papma. I am Atma refers to the Supreme Lord. I am Atma Apahata Papma. The Lord is free from the sins. So here the word Apahata. In the Apahata also the same ta pratyay is used. So the ta pratyay, the word Apahata is formed with the ta suffix when combined with the papma. So it means, literally it means what? He has warded off or destroyed the sins. If the ta pratyay had been used in the sense of a past tense, it would mean that he has destroyed his sins or he has warded off his sins. So does this mean that the Lord was previously sinful and then he has destroyed his sins? No, it's not possible. So Jiva Goswami says that here the word ta pratyaya, apahata papma, is used in the sense of a eternality. That means the Lord is eternally free from sins. The Sannihita also, the word, the ta pratyaya is used in the sense of an eternity. The Lord is eternally performing his pastimes. So similarly, in the patita word also, the ta pratyaya is used in the sense of the living entity is eternally in a fallen state. Another example, in the Bhagavatam itself, 3.16.7. See that shloka. हाँ यत् सेवया चरण पद्म पवित्र रेणुम सद्यक्षताखिलमलं प्रतिलब्धशीलं न श्रीर्विरक्तमपि मां विजहाति यस्या प्रेक्षा लवार्तयितरे नियमान् वहन्ति. It's a beautiful shloka. The Vishnu is telling to the four Kumaras, because I am the servitor of my devotees, my lotus feet have become so sacred that they immediately wipe out all sin. And I have acquired such a disposition that the goddess of fortune does not leave me, even though I have no attachment for her, and others praise her beauty and observe sacred vows to secure from her even a slight favor. So the Lord is telling to the four Kumaras that my lotus feet has become so sacred because I am the servitor of my devotees. Because of serving the Brahmanas, because of serving the Vaishnavas, I have obtained such a great position. I have acquired such a disposition that even goddess of Lakshmi Devi does not leave me. So in this verse, you see the word pratilabdha. The pratilabdha, in this also the same ta pratyaya is used. Pratilabdha, ta pratyaya is used. But in this also, the ta pratyaya is not used in the past tense. If it had been used in the past tense, it would mean I obtained this position. That means previously, the Lord did not have that position. And then after serving the Brahmana, Vaishnavas, then he acquired that position. It would mean like that. I have acquired such a disposition, pratilabdha shila. This definitely does not imply that once upon a time the Lord did not have such a disposition. Bhagavan is always Bhagavan actually. It is not that previously he was not Bhagavan and then after serving somebody he became Bhagavan. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. So here also the word pratilabdha is not used in the ta pratyaya is not used in the past tense, rather it is used in the present tense, indicating the eternally. The Lord is eternally in that position. The Lord is eternally in that position. But it is his greatness. He is highlighting about the importance of service to Vaishnavas. He is saying that I have acquired this position like that. But actually Lord is eternally in that position. So when we say the word bhakta, it comes from the root dhatu bhaj and then you add the ta pratyaya. Bhaj means to worship and then bhakta, a devotee or a worshipper. That is also formed by adding the ta pratyaya. So it does not necessarily imply that that the devotee it refers to was previously a non-devotee. Because eternal associates of Bhagavan like Nanda Maharaj, they are also called as bhaktas. but they were not previously non-devotees. Therefore, it is incorrect to assume that the word patita implies a previously liberated state. Because people quote this Sikshashtakam shloka and say that, see, somehow or other I have fallen. That means you have fallen means previously you were in Vaikuntha, therefore you have fallen. So people quote this shloka. But actually, here the tha pratyay is not used in the sense of a past tense. You fell from Vaikuntha. Rather, it indicates the eternally fallen state of a living entity. And so the eternal associates of Bhagavan, such as Mother Yashoda, they are called as Nitya Mukta. So the word Mukta is also obtained by adding the tha pratyaya. But it does not imply that all the liberated beings were previously fallen and that they became liberated. So similarly, Patita or Baddha, both are actually past participles, may still indicate an eternal beginningless condition of a fallen state. Eternal beginningless condition of a bound state. So it does not mean that those who are fallen were previously liberated. So now somebody may set forth another objection. If this section is properly analyzed, we can conclude that it refers only to those devotees who reach Vaikuntha from the material world. Only those who reach Vaikuntha from the material world, they will not fall down. This can be ascertained by studying the 6 items that determine the import of a text, such as its opening and closing statements. These are described in the following verse. So normally, in order to understand the subject matter of a book, there are 6 indicators. Through the 6 indicators, you can understand what is the subject matter of a book. So they are called as Shadlinga. There is a shloka which says that Upakramopa samhara abhyaso purvata phalam arthavadopa cha lingam tatparya nirnaye. So these are the 6 indicators for the tatparya nirnaya. So in order to conclude the tatparya, the main essence of a book, the main subject of a book, what are the 6 indicators? What is stated in the beginning and end of the book? Upakrama, upasamhara. And then that which is repeated throughout the book. Third, that which is unique to the book. Fourth, that which is stated to be the result of the phalastuti, the result of the prayojana, the result of following that which is there in the book. Fifth is that which is praised in the book. Sixth is that which is established by logical argument. So these are the 6 indicators to understand the subject of a book. So somebody may argue that the opening verse, the concluding verse, and the Upanishad mantra quoted in the section currently under the discussion, that means the 63rd anuccheda, the opening verse, the concluding verse, and the Upanishad mantra quoted in the section currently under discussion, they all refer to the jiva who attains Vaikuntha from the material world. The opening verse is the 3.25.37. The concluding verse is 4.12.37. Those established in unadulterated peace, who are equanimous, pure, and who please all other living beings, effortlessly go to that abode from which no one falls down. It is talking about people who go to Vaikuntha from the material world, they will not fall down. And the opening verse also talks about after the removal of ignorance, they do not hanker after any opulence. That means this is also referring to the person whose ignorance has been removed and then they go to Vaikuntha. This also talks about those people who have gone to Vaikuntha from the material world, they will not fall down. And the Upanishad verse which is quoted in the middle, which is the Upanishad verse, here just as the enjoyment earned by karma in this world perishes in due course, so does the heavenly pleasure attained by the pious deeds. And those who leave their bodies after continuous recognition of the Lord and of the realities truly worthy of desire can freely travel in all the worlds. So this Chandogya Upanishad verse also talks about those living entities who have gone from the material world to the spiritual world. So therefore, one may say that, so this anuccheda is only talking about people who have gone from the material world to the spiritual world. They will not fall down. That means people who are eternally in Vaikuntha, they can fall down. Like that, one can still give an argument like that. So then, for that, with this point, we'll conclude. So the answer to this point is that this type of analysis is applied only when the ambiguity exists about the subject of a book. Only when there is an ambiguity about the subject of a book, or only when there is an ambiguity about the particular chapter of the book, or only when there is an ambiguity about the essay, then only you can actually apply this kind of then we have to refer to the six. Then we have to refer to this six indicators. But here there is no ambiguity only, because it is clearly evident that Jiva Goswami is discussing the qualities of Vaikuntha. And he listed 9 characteristics of Vaikuntha in the Anuccheda 61, and he is now explaining them in detail. So in this present section, he is arguing that one of the characteristics of Vaikuntha is that, and he is giving the proofs of the transcendental nature of Vaikuntha is that nobody falls from there. So there is no ambiguity here. So moreover, even if one follows the method of analysis recommended above, that means see the beginning and end of the book, see that which is repeated, see that which is unique in the book, the 6 indicators. Even if one follows the method of analysis and concludes that the subject of the section is that those who attain Vaikuntha from the material world never again fall, this does not prove that eternal associates of the Lord, they fall down. It doesn't prove that Nitya Siddhas will fall down. So because this section does not make any such statements. Neither makes directly nor does it make indirectly. So therefore, to come to such a conclusion is highly improper. In fact, the second verse spoken by Kapila Dev, Na karhijit matpara shanta rupe, that clearly states that Krishna's devotees are na karhichit. They are never bereft of the opulence. They are never bereft of the opulence. So therefore, Jiva Goswami, he is quoting that second shloka also, that is 3.25.38. That means the devotees of Krishna, they were never bereft of the opulence. They were never fall down from Vaikuntha. So therefore, it is very clear that neither the sadhana siddha devotees, those who have gone to Vaikuntha from the material world, nor the nitya siddha devotees, neither of them can fall from Vaikuntha to the material world. So today what we have seen, I'll stop here. If anybody has any questions, we'll take. So today what we discussed, one of the main point we discussed the word patita. Patita means fallen. One may say that it means that previously we are not in a fallen condition. We have fallen from Vaikuntha, it means. We analyze the grammatical this one, how the tha pratyay comes in 5 different meanings. Out of that, one meaning is that the past tense. The tha pratyay also comes in the present tense, and we gave 3 examples. Sannihita word from the Ujjvala Nilamani, Apahata Papma from the Chandogya Upanishad, Pratilabdha Sheela from the third canto, 16th chapter. In these three words, the word ta pratyay is used in the present tense, in the eternal present tense. Similarly, the word patita, the ta pratyay is used in the eternal present tense. The living entities are eternally in the fallen condition. And then before that, we also discussed that the Nitya Siddhas also cannot fall down. Whenever the scriptures talk about, if people say that sadhana Siddhas, they will not fall down because they have experience of the miseries in the material world. But the Nitya Siddhas can fall down. So how that argument is also invalid, we discussed that, because the Nitya Siddhas, they never fall down because the Lord does not have to give any instruction to them because they are already gone beyond the Shastras. They are eternally free from ignorance. We discussed some arguments regarding that. So, if anybody has any questions, we'll take up. It's little somewhat intense. I don't know how much anything we are not able to understand, we can again repeat it. Okay, stop here. So we will be continuing this discussion maybe for definitely next week we'll be continuing, and it could be two more classes. We'll continue the discussion, and then we'll go to the 64th anuccheda. Two more classes will take. Hare Krishna. Granthar. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रील
जय
प्रभुपाद की
जय।
जय। जीव गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय।